Hello everybody, welcome back to Kaizoku Deck channel. Today I want to talk about just one of the starter decks that is about a month or so away, and one that I'm super excited about, and that is the Buggy deck. And I want to talk about this deck because I have been playing Buggy this meta, and it's been fun, but let's be real, like it's not a very good deck at the moment, you know. The promo helped out a lot. The promo from OP10, that one just changed the deck completely, and I loved it, and I love it for it, but it's still missing some stuff. And I want to take the time right now to kind of just talk about potential cards that could be included in the starter deck that can make the Buggy deck just a good deck. And now I have a lot of hope for these decks because if you remember the old ones with like the Newgate, the Smoker, the Luffy, Purple Luffy, like even Doffy, Blue Doffy, like those decks just really made those leaders so much better. And so I am absolutely hoping and praying that the cards included in the Buggy deck can do the same thing for him. And so I'm just going to go over some of the things that I hope and that I wish to see in those decks. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, let's first talk about a card that I think and I hope, and again, I'm praying again, gets included. And that is a new Richie card. And I'm hoping for a new Richie card because if there is a new Richie card, and if it's a good Richie card, then that'll be one of the first steps I think that this deck needs to kind of completely go in a good direction. And why am I talking about Richie? Well, let's talk about Moji. Let's look at this guy's effect. So on play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 Richie. Any kind of, it just says Richie. There is no cost kind of restriction on this. It doesn't say a 2 cost or less or a 4 cost or less. It just says Richie. As long as it has the name Richie, you are good. And add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of the deck in any order. And this is my favorite part. And then play up to 1 Richie from your hand. Again, no limit to the cost, to the attack, to anything. As long as there's a card named Richie, you can look for it, you can search it, you can add it to your hand, and then you can play a Richie card. Okay? Can you imagine? Like no barriers to searching for a Richie card. So what kind of Richie cards then do we want to see if there is a new Richie in the deck? So I was thinking, well, what if they add a 5 cost 7k vanilla Richie? You know what? I would take that. That is perfectly fine with me. I think that's kind of fair. If you're playing Moji and then you get to play another 5 cost that 7k vanilla, I'm okay with that. What about a Richie that's 4 cost and a blocker? You know, I'm kind of okay with that too. A 4 cost, let's say 6k attack blocker Richie that you can play. I'm okay with that. You know, you summon a 5 cost 5k body and then a 4 cost 6k body blocker. Sure, I would even take that. What about a 6 cost vanilla 8k attack Richie? Ooh, I think that would be great. I would absolutely love that. What about a 5 cost 6k attack, but its effect is it can't be removed from the field? Maybe as long as Moji is on the field or something like that. I think that would be absolutely amazing. I think, you know, again, even if it's just a 5 cost 7k vanilla, I think that is good enough. Like busting out 2 bodies, two 5 cost bodies. I think it's absolutely great. You get a search. And you know what? If they do add something like this, like another good Richie, then you can do 4 Richies of the new Richies and then 4 copies of this Richie that's on the screen. The 2 cost blocker just to kind of increase your chances of finding a Richie and then playing a Richie, I think that is perfectly fine, because I think one of the parts where this deck struggles, where a buggy deck struggles, is kind of in the beginning, in the early game, where you don't really know what to do, what to play. So, again, if there is a Richie with a 4 cost blocker that's 6k attack that you can play off of Moji, that's something to do in the early game. Or a 5 cost 7k vanilla, that's, I think I would take any one of those. Any one of these kind of effects on a new Richie card, I think would be absolutely amazing. So I'm praying, Bandai, please give us a new Richie card in the deck. Please, please, please. So let's talk about other cards that could be included in the buggy deck. And specifically, let's talk about the promos. Some of these promos we haven't received in the West just yet. We did just receive this new buggy, and this buggy has been amazing. It really stops aggro, which is nice. I love it. And you get to play a 6 cost or less cross guild card, which is great. But these two, the Mihawk and the Crocodile, we have not received them yet. So we're thinking, well, maybe we'll get copies of these cards in the deck for the West. And part of me kind of wants them like that, and then part of me does not. Because again, like, if these promos, which, they exist within already the cross guild kind of world, and the One Piece TCG world, they already exist. So we're not printing kind of new support for cross guild per se. We're just kind of handing out promos that already exist in Japan to the West, and we're including it in the deck, in the starter deck. I kind of love and hate it at the same time, because I want new cross guild cards, but then again, I also, don't want these promo cards to be, maybe regional exclusive or treasure cup exclusive, and, makes it kind of expensive to get. So I can't decide if I want these promos in the starter deck taking up space for a potential, like, new cross guild card. Does that make sense? I want them, but I don't. So I don't know if these cards are included if these promo cards are included in the starter deck. I will be happy and sad at the same time. I hope you guys can understand kind of where I'm coming from, because, like, I want new cross guild support, and these guys are already there. They already exist. So, and I think, honestly, if we're talking about the promos themselves, like, I think Mihawk is pretty good. Like, you play this on your second turn if you're going on your even dawn turns. You play this second. You attack with him on your third turn, which is your sixth dawn turn. And assuming he survives, right? Assuming he survives your second turn when you play him, and he stays on the field. You attack with him. Then you use your Buggy's ability. You play like your promo Buggy, or you play your 7 cost Crocodile, and you play another cross guild card that's 5 cost. And then you can just bounce Mihawk, and then you can do, what is it? You play another 5 cost or less cross guild type. Oh no, just up to one 5 cost. Has to be a 5 cost guild. So you can play just another, I don't know, another 5k. Could be a Daz Bones or something, So in theory, Drake, Mihawk isn't that bad. He's good if he manages to survive, stay on the board, and you just swap him out with a 5k from your hand, assuming you have another 5k, another 5 cost in your hand. So it's not that bad. The Crocodile, during your turn, and it's on play. If your leader includes Cross Guild or Baroque Works, place up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 2,000 or less to the bottom of the deck. It's again, it's okay, not too impactful. It's not gonna hit a big deadly target. So again, like I guess these like even though I want these promos at best, Mihawk is probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10 card. Crocodile, not that good. It's okay, I guess. It's okay. So I don't know. Will we have these promos included in the starter deck? That's fine. If they are gonna include at least one promo, um, even though most of us already have this buggy, I can't see I can't imagine the buggy deck not including this buggy promo. So we might just get another reprint of this buggy. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, at least those are my thoughts and just my opinions on if they're gonna add promos into the starter deck. Those are my thoughts. Let's talk about the 5 cost slot, or the 5 cost cards that are available for cross guild. Because if Bandai really wants to try and make Buggy better, 5 cost cross guild cards is something that they have to address. Because right now, the only 5 cost cross guild or Baroque Works cards that we even want to play are just the Dazbone ones. Whether it's the vanilla 5 cost 7k attack or the EBO1 Dazbones where you draw 2, trash 1. So there really isn't much choice as to the 5 costs that we want to play using Crocodile's effect. There is Alvita, but honestly, her on KO, her ability only activates on KO, and we know that there's just so many cards out there that can get around this. Either by bouncing the card or bottom decking the card or trashing the card. Just removing it in other ways outside of KOing. So I think if Bandai really wants to make 5 cost a good 5 cost cross guild card, one potential idea could be something similar to Alvita's effect, except instead of saying on KO, you can have it be when it's removed from the field. Play a 5 cost or less cross guild card. It could be from hand. Even better if it would be something from the deck. Imagine that. Imagine removing something from the field and then choosing the 5 cost cross guild card from your deck and playing it. That would be awesome. I doubt they would do something like that, but at the very least, I think playing another 5 cost from hand would be absolutely great. And then maybe having another 5 cost with an effect where you can just maybe add a card from your deck to your hand, like a 5 cost searcher. I think a 5 cost searcher with maybe 6k attack, on play, add a search the top 5 and add a cross guild card to your hand. I think that's kind of fair. Because at the end of the day, you're discarding when you're using your Buggy's ability, you're just losing your whole hand. You're discarding one card to play another card, for your leader ability. So you're really losing 2 cards from your hand. And then if you play a card like Crocodile or the Buggy promo, you're losing 3 cards. Leader ability, Crocodile, 7 costs, and then you're playing another card from hand. So you're losing 3 cards from hand. So a 5 cost cross guild card that kind of replenishes your hand, something maybe similar like Dazbones, because Dazbones it does that, right? Draw 2, trash 1, but a 5 cost searcher of drawing a cross guild card and adding it to your hand, I think at the bare minimum something like that would be pretty good. I've seen some list in Japan run Monkey D. Luffy from OP11, and the reason they're running him is because he's a 5 cost 7k attack blocker. So 7k attack is actually really important because of the red matches, right? If you play Dazbones, next turn, if you're playing against a red deck, they'll probably just use Beckman and just trash him. Okay, he trashes a 6k or less character. So having like 5 cost with 7k attack kind of helps you be protected against Beckman. And that's why a lot of people are running this one, because not only is he a blocker, he's a 7k blocker. You know, both of those things are just really good. So maybe if we can get like a 5 cost 7k blocker, I think that would be really good. This one has this Luffy even has a 1k counter. Simply because he does have like a drawback ability, and his ability reads, if you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this character cannot attack. And you know what? That's perfectly fine, because if it's a blocker, we're probably not going to attack with it anyway. Who knows, right? But if it is going to have a drawback like that, then giving it a 1k counter, I think sounds pretty fair. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what Bandai does with the 5 cost slot. Again, if it's a Richie card with like a great ability, that's awesome. I would absolutely love that. But I do hope we get something good, something that like is relevant in the meta, because you know we have a bunch of cards that, just like I mentioned before, it just gets around KO ability. So at the very least, I think something that's like when removed from the field, you can replenish it. That would be absolutely great. But let me know what you guys think. You know, what kind of cool effects on a 5 cost body would be really good. So let's see. And finally, let's talk about the 6 cost cross guild card slot that also needs to be addressed because of this Buggy. You know, right now this Buggy, the promo Buggy, his ability is on play. You can play up to 1 cost 6 or lower cross guild card from your from your hand. And honestly, the best card we can play off of this Buggy is the Mihawk. And Mihawk is great. You draw 2, trash 1, 6 cost, 7k. You know, he's actually really, like, for his ability and for what he does, I think stat wise he's at the perfect place. 7k, again, we can avoid being Beckman unless he uses something else to combo and reduce it even further. 7 cost is good too, because we can get rid of not get rid of, but like avoid being Raylaid, you know, with his ability to KO 4k or 3k or less, I forgot. But being at 7k kind of, you know, kind of protects us from that. And the 6 cost it's a good number. So I think if Bandai again wants to make the Buggy deck better, it's gonna need a good 6k or a 6 cost card. And some ideas that kind of come to mind, like if I would be designing a 6 cost card, what kind of cross guild card would I like? And so one of them that I chose was maybe a 6 cost 7k card that bounces a card on the field, because again, as I mentioned before, you know, one thing that the cross guild or the Buggy deck kind of lacks is like board control. It has to rely on its big bodies to kind of clear, or, you know, just fight for board, which is fine and all, but ideally I think having at least one character card that bounces something and helps you keep like fight for the board would be great, because there are event cards, cross guild event cards that let you bounce a character on the field, like control the board, but lets you bounce something or bottom deck something. I forgot, but they do exist. The problem is that the Buggy deck needs like character cards on the field in order for you to use your 10 cost Buggy. So having a character that can bounce something, I think would be absolutely amazing. Something like, we have Kiros, he's a 7 cost, right? 7 cost, 9k attack, bounces a 5 cost or less. We have Dofi, 7 cost, the 7 cost starter deck one. So his ability is on play, you know, bounce a 7 cost or less. So, and those 2 cards aren't leader locked. So if we can have a 6 cost 7k attack with a bounce effect that is leader locked, I think it would be fair to have something like to have that card bounce maybe a 6 cost or less character back to the opponent's hand. You know, if it's not leader locked, maybe you want a 6 cost card that can bounce a 5 cost card, right? But I think if we keep it leader locked, a 6 cost is fine. A 7 cost would be absolutely amazing, but I don't think Bandai would ever do that. But yeah, I think a cross guild card that can bounce, or bottom deck, that would be even better too. I think that would go a long way. Or 6 cost 7k rush. I think that would be really good too. Because again, you can play most of these 6 and 5 cost cards, you can play them on your third turn, right? That's kind of mid game. And so having on your third turn playing 2 bodies, and one of those bodies is a 7k rush, I think that's kind of fair. I think that would be great. Or how about a 6 cost that with 7k attack that can't be KO'd? I think that would be pretty cool. That'd be awesome. If it was like a Richie card and can't be KO'd as long as there's emoji on the field, that sounds pretty fair too, right? Or how about a 6 cost 7k that on play or maybe when attacking also gives 1k attack to your leader? I think that would be pretty cool as well. So, I mean, I think there's just so many different directions in card designs that Bandai can do, but it has to be, it has to be within the 6 cost cross guild kind of card slot and the 5 cost card slot. So, yeah, I think I'm really hopeful for this deck, and I hope and I pray that it's gonna bring Buggy up. I love Buggy. I love the Buggy deck, and I mean, out of all of the new Emperor decks out there, I think Buggy right now at this moment in the OP10 meta, it's obviously the worst, right? Like Shanks and Blackbeard are performing really well. Black Purple Luffy is good enough, that it can take some wins. But with Buggy, man, you struggle. So hopefully Buggy gets some love in the starter decks, right? And kind of brings him up and just makes his gameplay his game style just even more fun. So this is just my thoughts, kind of what I hope for that comes in the deck. Let me know what you guys hope for. It'd be cool. You guys try to design your own card and let me know in the comments what you want to see and what you hope to see. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and until the next one.